Hello, good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone, wherever you might be, and welcome to another session of International Education Week UNE 2024. We're thrilled to have you with us today for what promises to be an insightful discussion. We're live streaming on StreamYard, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, so we are connecting with a truly global audience. Today's session is titled Engineering in the USA Professional and Personal Experiences. And we are incredibly fortunate to have Federico Velázquez Casados with us. Federico will share his personal journey and professional experiences in the field of engineering, particularly focusing on his work in the USA. His talk will offer valuable insights into the skills and mindset required for international engineering roles, as well as practical advice for those considering similar paths. Federico brings a wealth of knowledge into this topic. He is an experienced mechanical engineer at Loist, a Belgian company with operations in Nashville, Tennessee, with a bachelor's in mechanical engineering from the Instituto Tecnológico de Ciudad Madero, specializing in automatization. No, sorry, specializing in automation. Federico also is pursuing a master's in business administration at Tec de Monterrey. Before we dive into the session, I'd like to remind you all to engage with us on social media by using the hashtags hashtag IEW UNE 2024 and hashtag UNE tu Potencial. We encourage you to share your thoughts, reflections, and any questions you may have during the talk. And now, without further delay, please join me in welcoming Federico Velázquez to share his experiences and insights with us.
Hello, everyone. Well, first of all, thank you for Kim Soriano and all the stuff behind this project, this conference that he have been performing during all this week. So let me tell you that I feel so welcome about this. So well, let's start and thank you for having me here. I hope this information can be useful for all of you, all the people that maybe are interested to maybe their next steps is to work in like this example to work in the USA or another country. So I think the school focuses on those minds, on those people that, well, let me tell you, are interested to think in a different way. So well, let's start. Well, let's start with this presentation. Just give me a second, just to adjust one thing on my slides because it's something that is not happening there. Give me a second of this. There you go. There you go. I think this is the right way to show you this conversation. So let's start. Well, first, basic questions. I know the font and all these templates, the template that I've been using for this presentation is very basic one, white font, Helvetica neon letter. And well, let's start. Who I am, I'm Federico Velázquez. Thank you, German, for all my backgrounds you share with me. And yes, all of them are right. I mean, I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm into my quest to end in my master's, hopefully this next week. So actually, I'm advanced into my academic career. My occupation actually is the position is called regional reliability engineer. That focused only on to try to the assets and equipments in different and between 8 plants around East United States are working on to trying to keep them working during all time focuses on the mechanical engineering, automation engineering, and also electrical engineers. So I'm in charge of that part. And why I'm doing this, not this show, this presentation, is because why I'm doing this about my career, because since I remember, I don't know when was it, the first time I took some tools and I started working with my dad to trying to fix some cars or whatever appears in front of us. So let me tell you, it's something that I'm really passionate to try to fix the stuff. So after I figured out that thing that I really enjoy is where I started to build my career focused in this case on mechanical engineer. And let me tell you, it's been a path for around 8 years, focused on mining industries assets in this case. So yeah, let's continue about this. The goal about this talk that I'm sharing with you is to share experiences, not advices. What I'm trying to say is, at the moment, if I want to advise you something, I'm turning myself in the responsibility about your decision or choices. So the completely these slides that you're going to see is only experiences, stuff that have been into my mind, and also scenarios that I've been living and I've been facing in different ways. And well, I'm trying to take the best choices at that moment. So don't take personal. It's not gonna be rude about this. So hopefully he's not gonna get bothered about you. So, well, here's some unrequested information when you start working inside or outside your country. But before you start or choose, be sure what do you really want. I mean, this quote is focused for those people that think that the happiness or their goals can be found in another country, in another place. Let me tell you, all of those things or thoughts are wrong. So just be careful about that. It's just firstly, be sure what you really want. Why I'm doing this? Because, well, the next question towards after this one is, how do I know what I really want? Because someone who doesn't know what he wants cannot commit. I would like to say this quote in Spanish because I like the way it sounds. Dice, alguien que no sabe lo que quiere no puede comprometerse. I think the strongest about this quote is it's important because once you understand what you want, you go directly to that goal. I mean, for example, what is the difference of a bulb and a laser? The only difference between a bulb, un foco in Spanish, a laser beam, the only difference is because the beam, the light direction is focused just on one position, just on one point. That's why the laser can go, well, let me tell you, there's no distance to take the real distance that a laser can achieve. That's the only reason about the difference between this, and the moment you know what you want, it's easy to get everywhere you want. But first of all, the first step of this is, well, self-knowledge. Before to start to thinking on working on everyone else or trying to fix the world, firstly, I think I know this bunch of questions is just something that came out from my mind. As I think the first one is a very good one. It like say, do I know myself? Do I know my pains, my wounds? Do I know the root of my pains? Do I know my scars? Do I know my evasive or reactive actions? Do I get along with myself? If not, what do I avoid myself? If your answers were no, well, something like this could happen. I mean, all these questions are focused on those things that we doesn't want. We don't have the desire to share with someone else because we are not gonna think about someone else. It's about us, because the people who are gonna live and take decisions and face the challenge in the future is only us. So let me show you what will happen if you are not willing to deal all these questions. Appears this interesting image. Thanks to ChatGPT for helping to build this one. The main idea of this picture is trying to imagine that that line, if were your path of decisions. All these lands, all this field you see here, there's some holes around there. Imagine that those holes are wounds, are scars, something that you don't want to heal yet. So what happened? And the moment you are walking towards your objective, or whatever you think is the right one, let me tell you what's going to happen. At the moment you find one of your wounds or your scars or the things you don't want to talk about, the first action of your mind will be your first basic reaction. It's gonna take the decision avoiding the uncomfortable feeling. So what will happen after? Life continues, and let me tell you, you will find another hole. And because if you don't want to face it, let me tell you, you are gonna surround it. And then that is an endless path, surrounding wounds, surrounding scars. And let me tell you, if you're gonna end in a different position. Now, if you are willing to face them and try to cure them, to try to see what is going on with them, let me tell you, in the future you will see like, hey, why I didn't do this in the past? It was so easy, but it's not, because it's something that no one wants to know, no one wants to face. It's hard. I mean, all these people that is watching me, also me, and everyone has their own deals and their own challenges inside their heads. So it's important to know what you want, to know what are you lacking of, to avoid this kind of misalignment roads that avoids to get you to your objective. So that is important about this. A good first step of self-knowledge is this one. I literally like this one, is who understands forgives. Who understands themselves forgives themselves. When it's not understood, it tends to repeat. In Spanish, I really like this one. It says, quien comprende, perdona. Quien se comprende, perdona. What is the meaning of this? I mean, what are the thoughts you came to my mind when you read this? Is, hey, when you face any scenario or something happen in your life, and do you know you don't know why you are reacting in that way that you didn't like. I mean, every reaction you have and you don't have control is because something else had to control. And let me tell you, those holes we saw in the past picture are the one who's taking control of the serious decisions. But once you understand the meaning of those roots or what's happening with those holes, let me tell you, you comprehend. You understand those things, and let me tell you, you forgive anything. But if we think more in a special way, in the end you are forgiving yourself, not someone else. It's you. You're the only people that you have to face or challenge. It's only yourself. But well, let's not be so rude. Another thing that is very, very interesting to see what do you want to know about the future and all those things is know yourself. What kind of skills or perks we have? What are all of them? I mean, those skills works for compete against others or against me. I mean, that doesn't exist because it's only you versus you. So I would like to share with you what skill or perks I have. I feel a little bit embarrassed about this one, but let me tell you, for me, it's a very bad habit. But during these 30 years of my life, I've been trying to use those things that I consider like a bad habit in a useful way. So let me share you. I call them fractals. I don't know if one of you have ever heard about fractals. Fractal is another way to say the fractions. I mean, something that is fractioned. I mean, the part of the half of this, the half of it, the half of it, in an endless position. So I have a good example to understand a fractal. Fractals is the infinite and the endless every day in your lives. So I think this is a very physical, real example. If you have 1 kilometer, well, we know that inside that 1 kilometer that we have 10 hectometers. But what happened if this picture we saw here, if we made zoom about this, the same picture appears, but the unit changed. So we have 1 hectometer, and inside 1 hectometer, well, there are 10 decameters. Then if we made zoom about this, well, we saw that into 1 decameter, there are 10 meters. Then 1 meter to 10 decimeters. Then 1 decimeter between there are 10 centimeters. I mean, every time I zoom and zoom and zoom, there's an endless space between them. The only thing that changes is only the unit, but obviously you need just a way to name them, to have a way to follow them. But let me tell you, this is an endless thing. Into 1 millimeter, there are 10 micrometers. Into in 1 micrometer, there are 10 nanometers, and then it's infinite. I mean, what I'm trying to say, like, these fractals are real, and we saw them every day. Also, doctors. I mean, an engineer, but I've been talking with the doctors in the medical area. They also saw this in the moment they are using frequencies in their stethoscopes or stuff like that. They are making zoom between more frequencies, deep frequency, and they are endless. So those things exist. Or this is a name what I call my ability. I call them fractal thoughts, or in Spanish, pensamiento fractal. It's something that I don't know. I just name it. It's like I really start to love this part of me, but let me tell you, it's completely sometimes it's useful. Or like my neurologist could say, be apprehensive. I mean, be apprehensive. You know, it's the symptom that we all people have to overthink things. That habit of overthink where can it let us? And nowhere. I mean, it's just thinking and overthinking the same thing. But I call them in a fancy way fractal thoughts. But let me tell you, can be useful. Well, I don't know for you, but let me tell you, I found a way to make it useful. Actually, during this 8-10 years of career into mechanical areas, there's a common practice that we call RCAs, that are root cause analysis. I mean, this exercise can be performed by different areas to find the root cause of something happen. Maybe it's a failure, safety issues. I mean, there's a lot of ways to use this kind of tool. What is the right way to use it? Well, to make the sum of what happened. Like, hey, what is the first why about this? Hey, what happened? Oh, something breaks. Why did this one breaks? And you start to go deeply. So let me tell you, it's a good way um, to use your bad habits into something can be useful. But you first have to understand that, okay, maybe it's not the best positive thing, but can be useful in the future. Well, let's go back to the question we made before. How do I know what I really want? We can imagine that um, let's go back again to say this, spell this question again. Who do I know what I really want? During this time, I think a fair way to find what you really want is the only way. I mean, is giving yourself to the experience. In Spanish would be entrégate a la experiencia. You receive from the experience in proportion to how much you give yourself to the experience. This powerful phrase, quote, or whatever, it means too much to me because I remember when I just graduated to the school and I have no idea what's going to happen with my life. And the only choice I had was like, okay, I'm going to sign with a company or something like that. I have no idea what's going to happen after. But I think a good way to see what I wanted, what I want or wanted in that moment was, well, I give myself to the experience. Because let me tell you, in the moment you accept those things, two things will happen. Maybe it will like you, or maybe not. So now you know what you don't want. It's a good way from the start. But now, if you like it, okay, you can follow that path. But remember, life is only rich in experiences. That's why it's so important to give yourself to experience, because life is the only thing that is rich. There's no other things. What is life? Life is a relationship. What is relationship with everything and everyone else? So on what relates the quality of a life or the quality of the relationships. So if those relationships are full with rich experience, let me tell you, you will be feel not happy because happiness doesn't exist, it's just in a state. You will feel not in the future, not in the past. Now you will feel comfortable. You will feel plain. But now, do I like what I want? In the past slide, I told you like um, the two paths that we can follow after we are living experiences, if we really want it or not. Um, but I think it's a good path to understand what I've been doing after I take decisions is understand the benefit of doing it. Well, you don't understand the benefit, you don't make the effort. But when someone understands the benefit, turns the effort into enthusiasm. So I think it's a good thing because when you understand the benefit of the things you have been doing your entire life, let me tell you, every day you're gonna wake happy, with enthusiasm to perform the things. But if you're not enjoying those things, okay, something is wrong. So it's time to go inwards in our inner world to see what's happening there, to see why I'm not aligned with the things that I want, the things that I'm doing, the things that I'm feeling. But well, let's make some assumptions. Let's make the idea of we already solved the things that I wanted. I already accept myself. I accept that I'm living today. I'm not living in the past. I'm not living in the future. I'm living right now in this moment. I'm so plain about myself. I'm so conscious about me. Let's make this assumption that is happening right now. We already solved all those stuffs. All the questions were deeply answered and solved. Not only answered. I mean, I found the root of them. I really understand myself. I really accept myself. What's happening there? There's a problem, and I really like this one. The problem of understanding ourselves is that you can no longer blame anyone or anything. Once you understand that thing, you cannot blame that someone affects me, something affects me, because in the end, the only reality that we are living is ours. So we are responsible of that reality. So that's the problem of understand ourselves. There's no more oral ways to blame anyone, only ourselves, because we are responsible for our decision every day, no one else. So that's a problem after you open the thing that you didn't want to face. But well, let's go back to our academic focus on this talk. This unrequested information advices like that was in a hiding way when you start working inside or outside your country. Let's focus on inside challenge. In the moment when you decide to work inside your country, what's the difference to go inside or out your country? Well, inside you understand how the things happen inside the country, how to manage the money, the cultural behaviors, the banks, taxes, anything there. So in the moment you say like, hey, no, I'm not interested to go outside the country. Well, I would like to start my career or my degree and try to develop it in some area, any sort of area there. You will face firstly your financial stuff. I mean, even if you want to be a salaryman, okay, you have to understand the banks, how the hacienda works in Mexico. Hacienda is where you manage your taxes in Mexico. First, you have to understand that, okay, if you want to be your entrepreneur, you're going to put your own business, okay. It's another page about talking about financial things. I think it's harder to face reality being an entrepreneur or only give a service like a salaryman. So I think all these inside challenges is something that you have to be aware of. Also the retirement, because as you know, well, at least in Mexico, you're gonna live about your savings. that thing called Afore. It's just the saving you have been doing, uh, paying every month, also with your boss, but in the end, it's your own money, putting it just in a budget there. But let me tell you, the money, if you're just having an imagination about that, Afore is not an answer. I mean, because let me tell you, the money that you are earning today, all the profits you are earning today, when you get to retirement, you're only going to live only with the 25% of that money. So if you are earning, I don't know, maybe $10,000, just giving a number, when you get around 65 years, you're gonna only earn around only 2,500 or $2,500. But if you consider the inflation, all those stuff, it's like, hey, I will earn nothing. So it is important to see that thing, that kind of mindset, like, hey, I need something else. I need something different about thinking about retirement, not just the way that the government is gonna pay for you. So that's why I also have this information about the investments and side projects. If you are interested to go to Wall Street to understand how the markets are working, to make some profits about that, to get some revenues, okay, let me tell you, it's funny. It's hard. It's a too long career there, but maybe it's a choice. But also, I would like to bet on side projects. I know it's different business, different ways to think, different things to understand about around money. I'm just telling you, like, what is the focus after you are finishing your career? Okay, the focus of finish a career, and their career is like, hey, I would like to uh, try test myself into an environment and also earn money. But it's important to understand those things, obviously. And here is, I'm just calling in an example if an uncommon situation if you start from nothing. I mean, if you don't have any contact or anyone else behind you that can support that financial things. If like anyone else that is living and finishing their careers in any area, I think that's all the things that you're gonna focus that. Well, I think no one is calling. But now, let's talk now about outside things. Okay, I told myself, hey, maybe my life is not here in this country. I have the opportunity to start my business or my life in another place. Well, this is the challenge that you are going to see in the future. The first one will be the language. Okay, if you are into a Hispanic country, okay, there's no problem. Some regionalisms or some specific words you can change if you are using Spanish, or if you are American, okay, you can go to another American country and not have problems about that. But if not, it's important to understand language. I know that the people is watching at me and has facing different languages when you are moving to another country. Let me tell you, it's hard, and sometimes you feel at the beginning of times that even when the moment you take the decision that you think that, hey, no one is gonna understand me, and you feel embarrassed the way you're talking. But someone very important to me told me once, like, hey, every time I heard someone with a different accent, instead of uh, listen something that can be pity or embarrassing, I I listened bravery. When that quote appeared in my mind, was like, hey, maybe I could feel proud about this thing, this new chapter that I'm trying to open into my life. But yes, in the end, it's something. So it's someone who's trying to understand new language, but not talking about only language, also cultural impact. Because now you have some customs and traditions in your country that is not similar in another countries or even in other continents. So those cultural impact, let me tell you, is hard to face. But once you understand it, you start to respect it. Now, why where are we going to talk about financial again? Because at the moment when you're leaving your country, now you have to understand what kind of taxes or the financial ways that this company is using, the country is using. Because let me tell you some people think like, hey, I'm gonna move to another first world country to get turning more money. But in the end, if you are foreign, let me tell you, firstly, you are going to pay more taxes, and because because you are not a citizen in another country, so they have different kind of taxes against it. So, okay, if I'm moving to another country, let's understand what kind of retirement programs they have there, because maybe in my country, in my native country, in my born country, it has better retirement plans about that. If not, we are only heading to a hole if you have not a good plan about to start a new life in a new country. And also goes to investments as projects. It's important thing. One thing that I didn't mention here is at the moment you are living, let me tell you, the reason that I told with you about knowing yourself is because once you understand and once you start working inside your country or outside your country, the only company you will have is you. So if you are not ready to be alone with you, let me tell you, language, culture, and impact financial will be the less of your problems. Because now I see you trying to go against you with your own habits that maybe are not the best one. So it's important to firstly, before taking these decisions, all these things can be solved before you understand to start, before you start to trying to see, hey, maybe my life and my happiness is outside my country. I must leave. No. If you're taking the decisions to live in your country, it's because it's something academic, something a goal, personal one, but it's not to feel any want, any pain. Because let me tell you, it's a fake, it's a lie. Because at the moment you solve your life, your wants, your pains, you will see like, hey, I made these decisions into that position before. Now I'm here and I don't like it here. So it's important to understand before you take this kind of decision. I'm not talking only about countries or moving else. I mean, and everything else can be used this information. Well, let's continue. Well, it's another chapter. If we have any anarchist stuffs about my conversation, like, hey, I can beat the system, I don't want to work into capitalism or stuff like that. Well, let me tell you, first, know the rules, play the game, understand where are you stand, where are your country, where your family is moving on. Because if you want to change a system, build a new one first to make the current one obsolete. Let me tell you, I think everyone young wanted like face the system in the past, but now do you understand how real that thing is? You're like, man, I don't have a mind to trying to create a new one. No, I'm not. Well, for me, talking about myself, I'm not interested to change a new one, neither to create a new one. So know the rules, play the game. If you want to change one, okay, understand what you stand of, and after that, you can create some changes. But someone who doesn't understand himself, let me tell you, it's gonna be hard to understand the system outside him. So that's why it's important to like, hey, I prefer to understand myself if I want to change something. Do not be afraid taking decisions and do not judge your own decisions. Sometimes we are so hard about us, of the decision we are taking. Every day we are blaming about the things we say, the things we made. And it's important to don't be rude about us. Because in the end, that decision you took in that moment was the best you could in that moment. So you are judging yourself from the past, like, hey man, you were doing your best at that moment and you're judging yourself. Stop. Don't be in that moment. Obviously, I'm not telling you like, hey, I'm going to spoil myself. No, no, no. It's not the same thing. It's like, okay, I took the decision. Okay, I have to respect and accept and not living the consequences about that. But be careful about decisions because there are some people that don't like to take decisions. As long as you don't choose, everything remains possible. That quote, let me tell you, is so powerful because there are some people that are so uh, I don't know the word in English, let me tell you. Ambitious, I mean, the ambitious to have everything. So at the moment you want everything, you're not taking decisions. So be careful about that. Always take decision, even if they're the right one or not. Always move on. And remember, every decision must be aligning with your feels, actions, thoughts. Every time you are having a situation or something is happening and you don't know what to choose or what to decide, just ask yourself, like, hey, I feeling this is the correct thing. Okay, I have the good thoughts. I think that is the best thing. Okay, I'm gonna act in that way. But if one of these three things is not aligning with another two, let me tell you, you have to change your mind, because let me tell you, you're not gonna feel okay. So it's important to follow them. Also, be careful about this. Be careful with tips. Let me tell you, I didn't know how to tell them. I mean, tips in Spanish is like um, easy advices or something that you can find. For example, today is so easily to find some reels that give you some good advices about life, and reels, Facebook, Twitter, on all those media, social, all the things. You know what I mean. But be careful about that, because life cannot be changed by them. Life can only be changed by transforming the self. By transforming the self, the environment changes. Okay, tips. Be careful about them. I'm not telling you that they are bad. Tips can help to trigger the seed in your mind to grow, completely transforming yourself. I mean, what I'm trying to say about this quote is sometimes we complain about our actual position, like, hey, I don't like be here, I don't like to have the work I have, I don't like the relationships with my friends, I don't like the relationship with my parents, I don't like everything. You start to complain for about everything. But the only thing that's gonna change that environment is firstly changing you. So that's why it's important to face the things you are afraid to face them. That's why the first thing that I asked you during this first conversation. Well, before ending my show, my display here, I would like to share with you this picture. Let me tell you, it's one of my favorites, because this picture was made by John Wheeler, a physicist for the 1940s, more or less around there in that area, when the Oppenheimers, Einsteins, all these people with a lot of brains were fighting each other and helping each other to have the best theory and stuff like that. So this picture is very powerful for me, because it's the easiest way to show what we are. We are only the universe watching itself. So what is the meaning of that? The only thing that we are watching and living every day is only part of the universe watching itself. We are part of something big. We are part of something that we don't understand yet. And the only thing that we can see the universe is firstly inside, watching inside of ours. What do you want? What do we want? What do you feel? Why I'm reacting? Why I'm taking decisions in this way? Why I'm reacting about that thing? So I like this picture because it shows what we are really are. If we remember some quotes I shared with you in the past slides, what is life? Life is just a relationship with someone or something else. So just try to get those quality relationships the best, because it's the only thing we have. If you are interested to get more about this information, or where I got some, well, let me tell you, these are my favorites. We're either authors from different books, movies, some engineers, some architects around this. These are my favorites. Most of them, there are some that are Mexicans, also another from other countries. But let me tell you, all of them has has shown me something about this new experiences I've been having during working in different countries, different uh, trying to solve problems in different spaces, different lands, different minds. I'm just only talking about the engineering side. I mean, I know it's a world outside very different, but at least for this, these authors can help me, could help me in the past. Now, I know that maybe you are laughing about my weird accent or the way I'm talking. Let me tell you, the people that who was watching me, I know that you have a better accent and best ways to spell things. I know I committed a lot of mistakes when I was talking, but even that, well, hopefully this information can be useful. If I could do it, if I did it in the past to move and start to watching the world in a different way, I know you can. I mean, just watch myself. I mean, my English is not the best one, and I'm still trying to understand more. But if you are interested to move in another place, or you are interested to see what the English can give you, well, there's no barrier, only you. I would like to close my slides before I start to the question area with these quotes. This is my favorite. In Spanish es, ojalá llegue el día en que una vez adivinada la esfinge se arroje al mar. For my English speakers, take picture about this, find it in your English, in your language, because I have no idea how to translate this. So thank you all for being here with me today. I really enjoy Wister with you. So if there's any questions, comments, complaints, well, I know where they coming, but if you have any to share, well, I think it's a good space during these last minutes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Federico, for that engaging and insightful presentation. Now, we'd love to hear from you, our audience. If you're joining us via StreamYard, YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, please feel free to submit your questions in the chat, and we'll take turns reading questions from the different social media, streaming services. Remember to use the hashtag IEW UNE 2024 and hashtag UNE tu Potencial. So let's dive into your questions. Federico, are you ready to take some from our audience?
Yeah, why not? But I don't know where I can see them, the pictures.
They will appear there on screen.
Okay, let me see. I mean, comments or private? Live.
They should appear on comments whenever they start coming by.
Okay, yes, I can see them. Yeah, well, thank you, Alan, for being here. Also, gracias, Ale, por escuchar.
Stephanie Espinosa says, I actually like the way you talk. I would like to be more confident to be able to talk like that in public in English.
Let me tell you, the English you know is enough. Just don't be afraid of making mistakes. Only that. Even if you are making it, try again. It's only that thing.
Kim Soriano.
My question is, what if I know what I want, but I don't know how to get it or achieve it? Where should I start? Wow. It's the same question I had when I just finished my degree. Let me tell you what I want in that moment. What I want in that moment was I would like to have the best car, because let me tell you, I'm very, and that's why I studied mechanical engineering, because I love cars. And let me tell you, the only way that I found the way to get to my dreams or the things that I want is I was aligned with the things that I wanted, the things that I was feeling and thinking, and also my actions were aligning to them. Let me tell you, the old experiences you are living today, all of them are very useful for in the future. Let me tell you, don't be rude about the things you have been living. If you feel that you haven't achieved something yet, let me tell you, it's a good path. It's a normal thing. Every time you are getting something, or you are closing to your objective, the more farther you will feel about the objective. I mean, every time in our minds works in that way, works in the opposite way that you are feeling and where you are. It's very very interesting how our minds works, because let me tell you, success, we only we think that the opposite of success is failure, but it's not. Failure is just something that happens in the path of success. The opposite of success is doing nothing. It's only that. So if you feel where you know where we can start, okay, just don't forget where you want to start. Where do you want to be? Let me tell you, your actions and your thoughts and your feelings will lead you there someday. Just give yourself to experience. Don't be afraid of that. So hopefully I could answer your question.
Yeah. Well,
Stephanie, my question is what? Okay,
it's the
Stephanie,
one that.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, we are over, and as we wrap up today's session, I want to express our gratitude to you, Federico, for being with us, and to our audience for your engaging participation and questions. Before we say goodbye, I would like to invite you to join us to our next and final session of International Education Week UNE 2024, titled Freelancing, Languages, and Dubbing, featuring Iris Dominguez. So stay connected and engaged by using the hashtags IEW UNE 2024 and hashtag UNE tu Potencial on social media. Thank you once again for being part of this session, and we look forward to seeing you in our next one. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and goodbye for now.
Thank you, Herman. Was awesome to be here with you all. Thank you, team. See
Thank
you.
you.